Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I wanted to talk about something a little different, which is my want quite often, and that is I wanted to talk about the spark of life. Now, what exactly do I mean by the spark of life? What I mean by the spark of life is the sense of life as it existed, because there is this spark of life, and once that spark is gone, everything is gone. And it's a fascinating thing. When we think of history, it's not looking back in the past. We're looking at the present in their terms. When all around you had the spark of life. And when they wrote, it was that spark that was captured on the paper. And when they spoke, when they debated, when they did their everyday lives, you had the spark of life. It's an interesting thing, because life is fleeting and life is so short. And when you look at history, you're looking at layers upon layers upon layers of life. And each one of these individuals, men, women, children, had feelings, had thoughts, had jealousies, had pain. They had heartache. They had love. They panged in remorse when they didn't get things their way. And each dreamed of making life better for those that followed. And many of them would write their thoughts and feelings in diaries and papers. We don't do that much anymore. That spark of life, is very important. Now, for myself, I have kept a diary since 1973. Since 1973. That is 45 years. This is my most present journal, diary. It's number 41, even though I numbered it 36. Somehow I did that. There's a reason why it's number 36 and 41, just so you know, as you can see here. There's a reasoning behind this. I purchased this book a number of years ago when I was on number 35. But I used a number of other books, and then when I finally did get to use this book, I was up to number 41. In fact, I had purchased this book in 2014, and of course I started it in 2017. I've worked through a lot of this. This is the 41st book. That's a lot of books that I've been writing in over 45 years and capturing a bit of the spark of my life. My craziness, my pangs, my heartfelt joy or sorrow or lamenting over the loss of friends, dear people who I've loved, who have left, I've written about, and my dreams and hopes, and observations of the present day, and thoughts for the future, and thoughts of the past. And lots of people did that. It's an interesting thing, this whole spark of life. Because we've all had it. And those of us who are alive now, as I speak, have it. But in just a short period of time from now, we won't. It'll be gone. And we will be gone. And that spark will be gone. And that energy will be gone. And all that will remain is our writings. It's an interesting thing today. We're so happy and so prizing of our great information and knowledge because of computers and internet and email and texting and all that stuff. We don't write letters anymore. We don't keep diaries anymore. Historians 100 years from now, 150 years ago, are going to be cursing us. They will be lamenting the fact that we were so busy using electronics rather than the printed form. Because instead of this being the information age, it's going to be the lack of information age. Interesting thoughts. And that spark of life will be lost in that lack of electronics. Because you know something, it's not permanent. 100 years from now, most of these computers will be gone. 100 years from now, a good deal of the stuff that we have written that was electronically captured is going to be gone. As will our memories. As will that spark. I remember when I was a boy, and you know, I found this again just a few years ago, just to make sure I wasn't dreaming. In the churchyard in which I lived when I was young, in Rockaway, New Jersey, the Presbyterian churchyard, there was a grave from the 18th century, I think in the 1760s, and it had a most poignant message. And I remember reading it when I was a kid, and it just went right into me and caught my attention. It said very plainly, "As you are now, I once was." That says it all. They once had that spark. I have it right now, and I had it then. And they had been devoid of it for hundreds of years already when I saw it as a boy. But at one time, they had that amazing spark, and they wrote and they remembered. And everything they did was because of that great, amazing spark of life. So my friends, you should keep a journal. I'm looking through it. You know, I do lots of stuff when I do journals. I take plant samples and, do all kinds of stuff wherever I may be. And I write about wherever I am and whatever's going on. And who knows? Who really knows what will happen in the future? But it's an interesting thing. I mean, that maybe years from now, this stuff might exist. And maybe that spark that was mine can be shared with the spark that lives in the future. Because that spark of life will continue as long as mankind does. And each person who possesses it will wonder and imagine about those before who had that very spark. Interesting things to think of. So I thought I'd mention this here at 2 o'clock in the morning since I can't sleep. And I thought it would be an interesting topic to discuss. So thank you.